It's very painful for the Greek people, and it can have a significant effect on growth rates in Europe.
Basically a yes or no to being in the Eurozone.
I believe that there's no solution within the Eurozone and within this European Union. I'm sure about this.
Greek people, the majority believes in the Euro and it believes in the Eurozone.
No, no, no.
If it's a no vote, how quickly do you think you can get a deal?
24 hours.
Good evening. It's decision day in Greece. 10 million people are voting on whether to accept the stringent conditions imposed by Greece's creditors or to get the third tranche of a bailout. The referendum may determine the fate of the common currency, the euro, the European Union and the global markets. Good evening once again and thanks for joining us on this special coverage. I'm Lata Venkatesh. With me is Anuj Singhal.
Hi Lata, and how will Dalal Street open tomorrow? Will a yes vote trigger a rally? Will a no vote spark a sell-off? That's all that we'll be discussing over the next 1 hour.
In fact, along with CNBC London, we will be keeping this coverage on throughout the night. The voting in Greece has just ended. The first projections come in at 11:30 p.m. and clear results are out at 2:30 p.m. India time. CNBC TV 18 and CNBC will be on air all night to get you the latest. Well, back to Greece now. The polling has been brisk and the turnout has been solid. It is expected to cross 40% threshold quite easily. Remember, 40% threshold is essential for the vote to be considered valid. Give us a no vote and we will give you a deal in 24 hours. That was the message you just heard from the Greek finance minister as his country went to vote today. He actually spoke exclusively to CNBC.
How do you think it's going to go tonight? Are you confident?
I don't need to be confident. This is the beauty of democracy. We only have to wait a few hours for the verdict to come through.
If it's a no vote, how quickly do you think you can get a deal?
24 hours.
When do you think the banks will open?
I'm now going today to get a lift and go downstairs. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that was the word from the big man himself, a deal in 24 hours. Well, now let's head to Athens. Julia Chatterley of CNBC is joining us live. Julia, the Greeks have turned out in droves, we understand. Give us an idea of the mood out there, please.
Well, I can tell you actually that here in Athens the mood was very calm. I'd say the only thing was an increased police presence actually as people were going to the polls today. Obviously this vote has very much been a divisive issue for the Greeks here. Do they vote yes? Do they vote no? So I guess one of the key concerns is depending on the vote tonight whether we see any kind of pushback, any kind of violence. But at least for now, very peaceful. There were some big queues around polling stations today too. So the belief was that, look, if there were people still standing outside in the next half an hour or so as voting comes to an end, then they'll continue to keep those polls open. But what we are now expecting is one TV station here in particular is going to put out some kind of exit poll in the next half an hour. So we may actually, when we speak to you again in around 30 minutes' time, be able to give you some sense of just how the voting's gone. But we'll have a better sense, around 10% of the votage counts in around 2 hours' time. And then by around midnight, Athens time tonight, then we should have around 80 to 90% of all the votes counted. So we'll have a good idea. But, you know, even over the last 2 days, very difficult to tell just how this vote's going to go. A very much equal split, it seems, between those that are wanting to vote no and those that were wanting to vote yes. I'd have to say, I think that the shy vote, those that people are less likely to be willing to admit, would be the yes vote, of course, the yes for austerity, the yes for a future in England. A lot of people that I spoke to at the rally here on Friday night for Alexis Tsipras and the no vote, people were telling me, look, we still want to be in the Eurozone. This is not a no to the euro. This is a no to austerity. A lot of people, of course, outside Greece arguing, do the Greeks understand the difference? Did they understand the question in this referendum? I think a lot of people that I've spoken to here believe that this vote will be very close. And then, of course, beyond that, What actually happens if this vote's very close? Does anything really change? And of course, given the weakness in the banking sector and the capital controls, the limitations on what this government can do even in the short term, be it trying to get some kind of deal, of course, remain. Yanis Varoufakis telling CNBC, just a couple of hours ago, that he can get a deal in 24 hours. I'm not sure anybody outside of Greece actually believes him. Back to you.
Okay, well, Julia, that really is the point. You have been reporting